This is Haris Kruskic, BR Live's combat sports reporter, and today we're here with Hangman Adam Page of All Elite Wrestling. Adam, how are you?
What's up? How are you? I'm doing well.
I'm good as well. So tonight, obviously, at 8 p.m. Eastern, you will be defending the titles with Kenny Omega against the Dark Order. How are you feeling heading into the match?
Hungover. Good. Otherwise, which is a normal occurrence. It's normally how I head into matches, and I've been doing pretty well thus far. So I feel good about it. Those guys jumped and attacked me 4-on-1 the other week. So looking to get a little revenge and defend the titles at the same time. 2-for-1.
What were you drinking last night? It must have been something pretty strong.
I don't know. I don't know that I remember.
It was that kind of night, huh?
Yeah. I had a long drive. I've been driving to Jacksonville. So, once you do that, it's like a 7-hour for me. You checked out. That's it.
I know the Young Bucks have had issues with, you drinking before. Has that ever come up, and has that ever been like a conversation that you've had with them to say, you know what, it's not up to you guys, it's my life?
No, not really. I guess we were friends for just the longest time. And everything's cool. I guess sometimes people go their separate ways to an extent. But we're still cool. You show up to work and you do your job, just like anybody else.
Got it. So you obviously had a lot of success as a singles competitor before you headed to AEW. Did you ever expect to be a tag team champion at AEW?
No, I tried hard not to be. I kept getting put in matches with Kenny, and we just can't help it. We're good. And just so good, apparently, that we're better than the other tag teams that we, defeated on the way to winning the tag titles and then defending them I don't know how many times. So it was never my intention, and I probably actively tried to sabotage it at times, admittedly. And I don't think Kenny was really about it either. But here we are. This is where we are, and we're the best at what we do. So this is why we're in this position.
What kind of influence has Kenny Omega had on you?
I guess a lot. I came up, in Ring of Honor, and then starting to work for New Japan as well. In Bullet Club, getting to meet and work with Kenny. And at that time when I met him, he was at, I don't want to say like the peak of his popularity, because that's certainly not the case. But, he was on top of the wrestling world when I met him. So getting to see, what someone's like in those moments, and then having our off time before AEW kind of really kicked off. You get to know a person, I guess, what they're like in those two kind of totally separate moments, and you feel like you really know somebody. And, after teaming this long, I think that we are so good at it because after all these years, we kind of know each other, that well in those different scenarios.
Do you have a favorite story related to Kenny that people might not know about?
I don't know. I'm not good at think I have a good story right off the top of my head. I can just always, when I think about like meeting Kenny, would be like after those Okada matches, and just how physically, mentally, emotionally, I've never seen a person so just drained of all life. Like that, and I know it's not a story, but you see somebody in that position, what it took out of them, those kind of things. I feel like that's how you kind of get to know somebody at their core.
Absolutely. So we've talked about you and Kenny. We've talked about the Young Bucks. There's another third tag team in the mix that have been, butting heads with the both of you, FTR. What's it been like having FTR on the roster since they joined?
Kind of weird, because we spent years saying F those guys, and I'll be damned if now I don't have to share a locker room with them. So weird at first, but I knew those guys years and years ago. They're both North Carolina guys who came up, on the independent circuit, same kind of area I did. Our paths somehow never crossed that much. I might have wrestled Dax once or twice, here and there, and Cash maybe one time. But I've known those guys for a long time, and we know a lot of the same people, a lot of the same places. And kind of getting to reconnect with somebody you never connected with in the first place has been pretty cool. I don't know, they're my kind of people.
You talk about growing up in the same area. What was it like living in Aarons Creek, Virginia? What can you tell us about your hometown?
It was small. It was good. I mean, you would drive up and down the road and you knew who lived in this house, who lived in that house. And you didn't just know who they were. Like, you knew them from church. You knew them from the ball games down the road. Everybody, knew each other in that real kind of small community. And it was good. I mean, it was hard. We didn't have a lot. And I don't mean to say that like we were dirt poor or anything, because we did fine. We had anything we needed. But once you get out and you see the rest of the world, you kind of realize more about what a place like that is like, I guess. But overall, it was great. I grew up with, not just a family in my house, but a family for miles around, it felt like, and that they're still family.
Is it true that you were a high school teacher before becoming a pro wrestler full-time?
No, it's false.
No, that was – wow. Okay, so Wikipedia is lying.
No, I was. I taught high school back for 5 years. Yeah, I finished college kind of early and didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I needed to make money. And, when you're wrestling making $50 a night, that's really not making money. So that's what I did for, 5 years there.
So what was a Hangman Adam Page classroom like? Were you laid back? Were you a bit of a disciplinarian? What was it like?
I was more laid back. My mind, my real interests were always on wrestling. That's kind of all I ever, really concerned myself with. So I was a little bit more laid back, maybe sometimes overly detached from teaching. But it was a good experience, overall.
Did any students or faculty recognize you as a wrestler? Did anyone ever go up to you and say like, "Hey, I know you"?
I mean, yeah, sometimes, and in some ways, but it's such like a small area that like it wasn't like you just saw me and you were surprised to see me. You would know, you knew that I taught there, you knew who I was, those kind of things. So even if like you had my class on day one, you already kind of knew who I was, and I would talk about it and get it out of the way. It was always kind of surprising. Like, the wrestling fans never acted like it. They played all cool until like right at the end of the year. They would suddenly like bring up a match you had against Silas Young in the New York City and ask about like what happened in this moment. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I know you like wrestling. What are you like? Oh yeah, I've seen all your stuff. What are you talking about? So stuff like that was kind of weird, but they would never bring it up until like last minute. I guess they were, I don't know, afraid, intimidated. I don't know, embarrassed. I don't know.
That's great. Well, Adam, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it very much. Again, Adam Page and Kenny Omega defending the tag team titles against the Dark Order tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Adam, you have a great one. Thank you again.
Oh, yeah, you too. I'm going to go paint myself orange.